Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name of course is Resident and today we are back talking about Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. Today I'll be going over and discussing what we have seen and been told about diplomacy and how it works. Many of you have asked me about diplomacy and I've seen a lot of people want it to be more in depth in Bannerlord, so we shall be covering everything we know in this video. As we saw in the newest Siege gameplay released at Gamescom, we have shown some slight insight into the diplomacy mechanics. From what we can see, it seems like Tailworlds are trying as much as possible to expand the options in diplomacy in the up and coming game. Talking to lords, trading, getting renown was very shallow in Warband. You could make alliances, you could declare war, if you have enough influence, you could suggest a course of action for other lords, yet there was not a massive amount of depth in diplomacy for the player to sink their teeth into, and I think this has shown with the amount of people asking and hoping for more options in diplomacy for Bannerlord, and taking it to more advanced levels. I think from what we can see, Bannerlord is trying to meet these needs and it looks very promising. In Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, the player will be able to do much more interesting political moves such as bartering. For example, a war has been raging for years between two powerful factions, an AI lord against a player. The AI is starting to get the upper hand in the war. They are taking more of the player's castles and fiefs, raiding and pillaging, blocking off trade routes and taking out important infrastructure in the player's kingdoms. The player must make peace with the savage AI faction, yet the AI is unlikely to accept the agreement without some leverage. This is where the diplomacy system comes in. Players can barter with other factions, such as giving them gold or land for an agreement of peace or ceasefire. We saw a bit of this in the Siege gameplay, where towns and fiefs can be given in return for other valuables. With trades like this, making different agreements, may it be peace, alliances or enemies, will be easier for the richer of the players and somewhat harder for the newer people. This adds to the harsh reality of the medieval world, where the rich get richer, yet the poor get poorer. We also saw in the gameplay that your status makes a massive difference in diplomacy and the options you have. For example, if you are not a king or a lord of a region, giving towns, castles and land to barter for peace may not be possible, as you can't give away what you don't own. We were also told mechanics such as giving away castles without the king's permission will anger him. They have been added into the game. This adds an extra dynamic playstyle to Bannerlord, fleshing out player to AI relations in a massive way. There is an influence system in Mount & Blade Bannerlord. This is an extremely in-depth system added into the game. To gain influence, players must win battles, tournaments, become known in the kingdom, and overall gain an impressive renown. This was in Warband a little bit, but there wasn't too much in-depth in it. Yes, you would gain renown if you gained kingdoms, if you attacked lords or high up ranking people. Then you would gain renown and you'd be able to do more things with that, but it wasn't as in-depth as it looks like it will be in Bannerlord. Influence is very important in Bannerlord's diplomacy system. As you might expect, a lone commander of a small party of men has little to no influence over a king, or then again even a lord. Yet, let's say you have won many battles, become well known throughout the kingdom and have a massive army at your command. You have a better chance of winning over the trust of kings and lords alike. For example, a king is much more likely to award you a castle if you have a high influence on the land, or even persuading him to grant you as his marshal in the army will have a much higher chance of success with heavy influence at your disposal. We have also seen in a quick interview with the founder of Tailworlds that they have put so much detail into every single part of the game, and from what we have been told so far, there's gonna even be a personality system with all the AI in the game. For example, one lord may be very generous, who will do as you command as long as you have a high influence, but on the other side, there may be a king who is selfish and vicious to his followers, rarely assigning castles, and one who may be less inclined for peace. I think this is an amazing addition, as if it is pulled off, it will completely immerse the player into the single player game, making it feel like you are in a medieval land, making friends, making enemies in the harsh world of Calradia. Coming across a lord with whom you may make an alliance, then meeting him later on in the game to aid him in taking out his foes. This adds much more to the Mount & Blade franchise, and I can't wait to see it in action and see how well Tailworlds have pulled this mechanic off. What else would you like to see in diplomacy? Obviously we haven't been told everything about the diplomacy in Mount & Blade Bannerlord, but just going off what we have seen so far, I can't wait to see more. Leave your suggestions in the comments and I will try and answer as many as possible. But thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, remember to leave a like. You know what to do if you didn't, but subscribe to the channel for more update videos on Mount and Blade Bannerlord in the future. And like I promised you guys, I'm trying to get to you as much information as possible about the up and coming game. Spending hours on these videos, just a simple like makes all the difference and helps support the channel. Next time I'll be going over how co-op will work in Mount and Blade Bannerlord. I've got a few ideas, but if you have any more suggestions, leave them in the comments, and if I find some good ones, I'll be sure to put them in the video. How do you think co-op is going to work in Mount and Blade Bannerlord? How do you think they're going to implement it into the game, if they can? But until then, I will see you in the next one.